Selamat datang, good day, and welcome to the International and Domestic Virtual Colloquium, or COMAT 2023, organized by the Institute of Teacher Education, International Languages Campus, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I'm Munira, and I am the moderator for today's colloquium series. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on our live YouTube channel and EduWeb TV for COMAT 2023. The theme for this year's colloquium is Optimizing Future-Proof Education. The goal of this colloquium is to provide the space for educators all over the world to discuss, share, and exchange views with fellow educators on topics related to education and how it is transforming globally. Indeed, through the colloquium, there's plenty to learn and expand our knowledge. COMAT 2023 brings to you 18 series in the form of individual webinars with speakers from Malaysia and other countries. This is the first series of our virtual colloquium, and I hope you will stay tuned till the end of this session. But before we listen to the talk, let me lay out a few housekeeping matters. First, everyone who attends this webinar series will be given an e-certificate after each session. Therefore, do not forget to register your name now. Make sure it is typed correctly and your email address is accurate too. The registration link is pinned at the bottom of this YouTube channel. Second, we would love to hear from you during today's presentation. If you have any question for our speaker, please feel free to send it through the chat box. The speaker will be answering questions at the end of the session. If we don't answer your question during today's webinar, we will be sure to follow up afterwards. And finally, we'd like to encourage you to share today's webinar with others through your social networks. Now, allow me to introduce our speaker for today. Dr. Muhammad ROZI bin ISMAIL is the Deputy Director of the Institute of Teacher Education, Kota BHARU Campus, Malaysia. Prior to this post, he was the Assistant Director at the Institute of Teacher Education, Malaysia, in the Foreign and International Relations Unit. Previously, he was with Education Malaysia, Beijing. He is the alumnus for University Colorado State, USA, which he did and received his doctorate in education. At the university, he did his PhD in education, leadership, and management. Having been to many countries, Dr. ROZI obviously has vast experience and developed many international connections with scholars from many different countries. No doubt, more recently, he was invited to be one of the committee panels at the British Educational Training and Technology Show, BET, which is taking place in London this year. But before you share your thoughts with people in London, Doctor, perhaps you could share something with us first? Networks for Better Futures is the topic for today's webinar. As we know, developing networking and partnerships are very important, particularly when we want to expand our education system, making it to have better quality, meaningful, and relevant. So, Dr. ROZI, if you're ready, perhaps you could tell us a little bit on your take of what Networks for Better Futures mean to you. You're all right there, sir, in London?
Yeah. Hi, Dr. Munira. How are
Hello.
you? Good?
I'm fine, thank you.
Wow, you look good. You look cheerful. Okay. So, first of all, first and foremost, I would like to take the appreciation to COMAT, Colloquium Maya Antarabangsa and Domestic, International and Domestic Virtual Colloquium 2023, and also IPG KBA or International Language Teachers Training Institute in KL for having me to this very valuable session, not only for the educators, but also to our future teachers. And I hope that my sharing today will give some input how we're going to see teachers training, and also Malaysia education in future. So when we talk about the topic today, well, it's really my passionate actually about networks. Okay, because I always tell to myself, and also when I see the future education is about collaboration. So that is the first thing that come in my mind when we want to talk about networks. Okay, we have to see that network is about future education. Okay, so when we talk about future education, something that we have to relate it, that the future education is going to be bigger and wider, and we have to go very fast because heading education 2030, the network is really needed in our education system. So I think so far our Ministry of Education did very well to enhance more idea about future collaboration, but we have to work hard. We have to work hard because heading, as I said, education 2030, there are so many elements that how we're going to see that the network will be very benefit to our future education. So I think that is my starting point about today's session, Dr. Munira, and I hope that everyone will enjoy the session and will gain some inputs that very benefit to the acting as educators. Yeah, please back to you, Dr. Munira. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Rosie. Yeah, you mentioned about that it is important for us to have some sort of network with other people, not only within our own community, but
Yes.
also, in teacher education, we have 27 campuses. And I
Yes.
think when we say networking, we do activities among ourselves first within the 27 campuses. And then
That's
as
right.
we progress towards the future, I'm sure we need to expand, we need to go
Yeah.
larger, and then
Yeah.
and create connections with
Mm.
institutions outside of Malaysia. Right. So we're doing teacher training, right? So, in the context of teacher training,
Yeah.
why is it important for us to develop networking with other agencies, particularly
Mm.
with institutions outside of Malaysia or maybe beyond our own field?
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Luckily, when I was in headquarters of Institute Teacher Education back few years ago, my post was
Mhm.
the head for international and also smart partnership. So
Yeah.
from that part, I tried to build so many network with other agency because it's needed for my task as a head of international and smart partnership. And also when I see that 27 campuses really need our guidance from headquarters about how they can develop more ideas about collaboration. Okay, for sure, every campuses they have their strength about having more engagement with other agencies. But when they put in the trust to headquarters of Teachers Training Institute to bring more ideas about having collaboration with other agencies and so university in local or overseas, I think my part was that time so important. Okay, because I started to bring my own network first to the institution for because you said that yeah, it's true. I have a lot of networks when I was in Japan for my study years for my degree 1995 to 2000. Okay, I'm not go to Japan for only for my bachelor degree, but in the same time, I try to build the network with some universities, and so till now, even it's almost 25 years I left Japan, but I still have a good network and connecting them till now. And for your information, Dr. Munira, every year I go to Japan. Okay, I go to Japan
Yes.
because I think not only because of the network, but because I think I go there with some of my educators, and then to let them also get engagement with Japan network. So yeah, every year is very beneficial for most educators who are following me to Japan, because they not only visiting the first world country, but also they also got a and opportunities to do the
Mhm.
engagement with Japan's university and also agencies. So that is the first thing that I did when I was
Mhm.
in the post of head of
Mhm.
international and smart partnership when I was in IPGM. By then,
Mhm.
I think we did a lot of effort. Okay, an effort to make sure that we enhance more idea about network in
Mhm.
IPG for 27 campuses. As you said, that when we talk about 27 campuses, they need more idea how they can enhance the network with others. So I
Mhm.
still remember we did the proposal of how to enhance more idea about having more network come to 27 campuses.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, the proposal was approved 2018, and then
Mhm.
started by then. I tried to get in touch and to get network with some great university in Malaysia, just like University Malaya University, and then UKM, UPM, and then also UIA. And yeah, to short the summarize, we get almost 16 MOU with
Mhm.
national and local university with IPGM. So I think that is
Mhm.
the best part of my role when I was in IPGM or headquarters of Teachers Training Institute,
Mhm.
to bring more ideas about network, to bring the networking to IPG campuses
Mhm.
for 27 campuses. And for abroad, yeah, when I was in IPGM, I did a lot of visit with KPM and also YGT show to some countries to start the engagement with first world country in education, such like we visited Japan again
Yeah.
2018, and then we visited Finland 2019. MashaAllah, after we
Mhm.
came back from that visit, we still
Mhm.
continuing the network with them. And Alhamdulillah, some of the project that we try to develop with Finland and also Japan university and agency, it still happen today. So
Mhm.
there are some uh, ideas that we need to develop more in future for teachers training, especially in campus. But now I think it's a good time for us to develop more, since the idea of go global, the team from
Mhm.
our IPGM transformation has been announced since last year, 2023, 2025, for Go Global. So the network
Mhm.
for 27 campuses is very important for them to gain more idea with what
Mhm.
we had done before to them. Yeah. So that is the
Mhm.
idea from me, Dr. Munira. Yeah.
Yes, Dr. Rosie. So, I heard words like visits and projects. I
Yeah.
think that is one of the effective steps if we want to develop networking, right? To
Yes.
visit someone, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, in our everyday life, if we don't visit that person, our friend, then the friendship will not last so long, isn't it?
Even
So
if
I
you
think
are not replying message or texting WhatsApp, also they will feel that, oh, there are no engagement because there is no connection, right? So that's why the
yes, that's
visits
right.
and
That's
also
right.
connecting people is very important. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, making connections, connecting people is very important because it when people are touched, then you want to stay connected. So I
Yeah.
guess that is what you're trying to say also here because you started. I mean, you have an advantage. You've been overseas. You went to study abroad, and I think in a way I have that experience as well, and I do understand when you say that when you make new friends and you want to maintain the friendship, that you need to also have visits, okay, and also small
Yes.
projects which you can work together to develop
That's right.
that. And
Yeah.
I think that is a wonderful thing that anyone could do now. in a sense, that is we take it at a small level as an individual, right? But what about an institution? Okay, institution. For example, I'm from IPGKBA and you are
Yeah,
from IPGKKB, right? So
yeah.
what can we do to enhance our networking? Maybe you could give a little bit
Okay,
of
sure,
comment on
sure.
that in terms
Okay,
of
I think for this
activities.
matter,
Yeah.
we
Mm-hmm.
need to understand about the IPG transformation. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe some of our audience understand about the
Mm-hmm.
IPG transformation,
Mm-hmm.
starting 2016 until now.
Mm-hmm.
We are heading to the third phase of Go Global. I think I mentioned
Right.
about Go Global. Okay, so
Yes.
every campuses need to understand about the phase of how we develop IPG transformation. Okay,
Right.
so out of 8 clusters in IPG transformation, there are one cluster in cluster 7 about internationalization and also smart partnership.
Mm-hmm.
So if every campuses understand about that kind of the important one out of 8 clusters. So that is will be very benefit to every IPG to make sure that they will connect among IPG campuses, but also will
Mm-hmm.
connect with other countries education, especially in
Mm-hmm.
teachers training.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
to get that effort, it's not an easy task.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's not about we just click and then we get network. No, so maybe we just come out from the dark side because we have to stay very lonely in a 3 years MCO. But now I think we
Yeah.
cannot look back now. We have to look ahead. Okay, we have to go ahead. Okay, we have to
Mm-hmm.
go ahead that traveling is one of the point. Okay, to get connect. But understand about other factor also is very high needed for every IPG campuses to understand about what is the collaboration or network that be required by IPGM
Mm-hmm.
for campuses to be more wider idea
Mm-hmm.
in future, especially in teachers training. So let me list
Mm-hmm.
about 5 good points, Dr. Munira, for
Mm-hmm.
IPG campuses to understand not only that we have to go through with the IPGM transformation 2016 to
Mm-hmm.
2025, but also other 5 factor that I list in here that they have to understand that how to get more networks in future. Okay, because
Right.
another thing that we need to understand that we are not from the corporate sector. We are not from the
Mm-hmm.
business side sector. We are not from the how to say from entertainment sector. We are from the education. So education is
Mm-hmm.
not about make profit from the network. No, we don't want to make a profit. Profit, I mean, to get more financial if we get more network. No, we have to try to put aside for that kind of thinking. But in education, especially in teachers training, to get network is about to make sure our future teachers that we train in the teachers training see that the education is not only the education only, but they also need to understand there will come so many things in education that will make them very confident to be a teachers in the future. For example,
Mm-hmm.
if we make connection or collaboration with the
Right.
entrepreneurship agencies in
Mm-hmm.
school, we have the accounting and also the commerce subject, right? So maybe
Mm-hmm.
kind of teacher will get that point. Oh, the entrepreneurship idea they can bring to that kind of subject to make sure that student will more enjoy and happy when they're studying about the subject. That is just a small example about why we need to enhance the network in future education, because to make sure that our thinking about education is not very limited. Okay, even I said that we are not talking about the profit, but we are talking about the germs of profit to get for our student when they study the subject, when we bring the connection to our education. So let me back to the five factors why I think IPG campus need to develop more idea in enhancing the network and also collaboration. First, because we want to be the first world country also in education. Okay, back to my experience when I was in Japan for 5 years, back 25 years ago, and then when I was in Colorado State University back 13 years ago, I was so shocked, Dr. Munira, because my study is not only studying about my field. As I said, that my field in PhD in if I was in when I was in Colorado State University, my field was in educational leadership and management. But I was
Yes.
shocked because partly of the classes, because I need to take 2 years classes before I heading for my thesis writing. Part of the classes, the professors invited some leaders from other agency to give a talk to us. I said, wow, why they invite the director from the hospital? Why they invited the director of the company to join the professor to give a talk about the leadership. So from there, I understand that U.S. U.S. United States education have this network idea back 40 years ago. Okay, back 40 years ago. Not when I was there, but I heard that since 1970s, they try to bring more agencies and more corporate sector to their education ideas about networking, because they said that will enhance the idea about students to see more benefit what they can learn about network in future during their classes. So from here, Dr. Munira, I think
Yeah.
it's good for our IPG campus have this kind of idea. Okay, teaching our teachers trainer is not about teaching them to be a good teacher only. No, it's about how they can communicate with the community when they go out to be a teacher real in the real stage. Okay, when they go to school posting and then they go to the for teaching, especially primary school. Don't limited their idea about they have to get communicate with only the community in the school. What we want to train them in the Teachers Training Institute campus is about if we as a lecturer bring many ideas about having network from outside to them to understand that they need to do also the same network in future. I think our campus will be very excellent to preparing good teachers in future. That is number one. That is about first world country. We have to learn from first country, not only Finland but also United States and Japan. I stated some countries because I have the experience. And yeah, another thing about first world country in education, Finland. I just visited Finland last December. I went to the Haga Helia University. The first slide that they present to us, they have almost 150 network. Haga Helia University. That is the first thing they say to us. And then there are some questions from us asking the coordinator for the trip. Why there are some very important about having network with 150 agencies to the university, because your university is training teachers training. So the coordinator very simple reply: we are heading to the future education. Future education needs not only the G's of teaching, but also the G's of network. So they mentioned about network, Dr. Munira. So that's why I think 27 campuses in the whole Malaysia need to understand that network is very important, as what the topic of COMAT optimizing future-proof education is going to be proven very much about how our future education, how our future teachers trainer will gain a lot of benefit when we bring more network to our training. Yeah. Okay, so I have another thought. Maybe I can go very fast. Number two
Yeah.
is about the various background of experience that lecturers can bring to the campus also is very important. Why I say this? Because every lecturers come from different university. It's very minimal from from maybe 2 or 3 lecturers. They said they will come from same university, but mostly they come from different university. So if they have some still a good network with the university they study for their degree, master and PhD, why not? It's not impossible for them to bring the idea about their engagement to as alumni to university to the campus. So maybe that background also is very important for them to make sure that our teachers trainer will gain a lot of activities from their alumni project. Okay, and number 3 is about heading education 2030. It's no doubt that when we talk about heading education 2030, UNESCO lists out about 7 indicators for us to understand about what is future education about. And one of that is about network, Dr. Munira. So if UNESCO counted by 197 countries is agree about optimizing future-proof education about network, why we want to deny it? So we have to bring so many network because UNESCO also advise some country to do much network because it's benefit to our future student. Last but not least, Dr. Munira, I think maybe I would like to compile the ideas about SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, IR, Industrial Revolution, and also GCED. I'm not very sure either the audience realize or not. Now we are heading to the GCED, Global Citizen Education. To make sure that we are partly of the Global Citizen Education, we have to bring network for our future education because that is how to enhance the idea about collaboration in education. Yeah, so that is my very fast sharing. What the campuses need to do to enhance the network in campus. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Mira. Yeah,
Yes, Dr. Rosie, I think I do agree with what you're saying with the 4 points that you have presented. Number
yeah,
one is I think it's learning from others. I think that
yes,
is also part of school visits. If we're talking about schools, and if we are at IPGs, then we visit other
yeah,
institutions. So through the visits, we learn from others hands
yes,
on, right? Face to
yes,
face,
yeah,
communicating with people. So yes,
that's right.
and you mentioned about visiting those developed countries, but I think
Yes,
we could also learn from the developing countries.
yes,
I'm sure they have something to offer as well.
yeah,
So yes, so number one is learning from others, from
yes,
these countries in the other parts of the world. Okay, so I think that is great, and I think it's not that other campuses are not doing this; they are, but maybe we could push them a little bit more to
yes.
optimize
Not little bit. For
education
now, we
for
have
the
to push
future.
them more.
Push them
it's
more.
it's high needed, Dr. Munira, to push them more. Especially,
Mm-hmm.
I hope that most lecturer will bring, as I said, number 2
Mm-hmm.
ideas. Bring
Yeah.
the background university for degree or master or PhD,
Yeah.
their engagement to the
Mm-hmm.
university because it's the direct benefit that they can get. The
Right.
engagement from the
Mm-hmm.
campus. For example, I
Mm-hmm.
bring many network from Colorado State University when I appoint as a moderator for Minds last year. You know
Mm-hmm.
Mind?
Yeah.
Mind last year
Mm-hmm.
at
Yeah.
Kadri. Yeah,
Yes, I
I
was
bring
there.
my yeah, I bring Professor William Pinson, which my supervisor in PhD, and he said, "Wow,
Mm-hmm.
Rosie, you did well because I never thought that you will invite me to engage with
Mm-hmm.
your education activities in Malaysia because you already grad and I already give you a doctorate, but you still need me to do the engagement." So that is the very simple calculation about doing network, Dr. Mira. It's not about
Mm-hmm.
we
Yeah.
need to go to Petronas, we need to go to Khazanah National because it's very
Mm-hmm.
hard, right? The simplest way is
Right.
about having our
Mm-hmm.
previous university connection to our IPG campus. So I think, yeah, we can do it. Everyone can do the network for future. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah, and that is your second point. Having, because
Yes,
all of us have got a very different educational background. Okay,
yeah,
based on where we studied before this, and it doesn't matter if you studied in Malaysia or outside Malaysia, as
yes,
long as you
yes,
introduce your previous friends and colleagues. I
That's right.
think that's a great way to expand and to
Yes.
enhance our partnerships and also our collaboration. Yes.
Yes.
And it's a good thing because we learn. I mean, the way that I studied before would be different probably from when you were studying
Yes.
overseas,
Yeah.
and the different
Yeah.
countries have different ways of engaging and retrieving knowledge and disseminating information. So yeah, your second point is spot on as well. The third one and the fourth one, I think these two goes together with education 2030
Yes.
SDG, and also I think 5.0 now, and
That's right.
also GSET, GCED, Global Citizenship Education, UNESCO, UN, UNICEF, EPSIU, all these agencies, organizations
Yes.
are telling us. They're telling us that we have to network, we have to make friends with others, we have to
Yeah.
learn from others, not only from our own society, and we have to understand other people's culture, yeah, so
Yes.
that we could live in a world or in a country or in a community that is more
Yeah.
meaningful
You are
and
right.
more relevant,
Yeah.
as people or of the nation or of the world. So yes, I think these four points are very much relevant to networking, having networking,
Yes.
and to develop partnerships.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're talking very much at um, university, institution, global level. Okay, but
Yeah.
what about for those teachers in school? Okay, that's my second
Oh.
question actually. So, what can teachers do to expand their network with others? What can
Okay.
teachers and perhaps the students in schools can do? Yes, Dr.
Okay.
Rosie.
So, Dr. Munira, when we
Mhm.
talk about school network with
Mhm.
others, it's not very far different from IPG or Teachers Training Institute.
Mhm.
I think it's very similar.
Mhm.
But something that maybe Teachers Training Institute got wider idea is about they being given more opportunities to enhance the idea of network, because not
Mhm.
we are more flexible, right? In
Mhm.
teachers training, but in school, as you know, that maybe it's very little bit limited. But even there are some limitation, but they still can enhance their idea about have some network with others. And this is not something impossible things happen before, because
Mhm.
as I can mention about some school that very great network with others, just like, yeah, maybe we talk about the boarding school,
Mhm.
TKC, Tunku Kushia
Mhm.
College, and then I had that
Mhm.
experience also with SSP, and then with Sekolah Tun Fatimah. Why I did mention these three school, because previously I was a teacher at Pasir Putih Science Secondary School. Okay, also a boarding school,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
I teach Japanese language on that time. And then I said, oh, my Japanese language student cannot only stand by their own to learn about the grammar of Japanese language. I need to get them
Mhm.
involved or in touch with other school, because maybe the teachers, or we call sensei, and also the Japanese
Mhm.
language student from other school, also maybe they got some others ideas about how to enhance the Japanese language. This is just the sample about how we going to enhance the networking in schools. So what I did,
Mhm.
Dr. Munira,
Mhm.
also a visit, yeah, for sure a visit, because back 20 years ago when I was a teacher at Pasir Putih Science Secondary School, we still have not
Mhm.
idea about internet on that time. So the point that
Mhm.
we see, or maybe we can go and then we do some activities, and then from there we can have some network. That is among schools by school. But with others agency, yeah, I may say it's very limitation, it's very limited on that time, because we just find the network when we want to organize a big event in school. For example, when we want to organize sports day, when we want to organize the convocation day. So the principal will say, or the teachers who are coordinate for this program, please make sure you also find some network about having extra gift to student, maybe about extra financial to top up from the finance that will be prepared for the event. So from there, even it's very limited, but I try to apply some idea about enhanced networking for school during for that event, Dr. Munira. But now, because my wife still a teacher in school, so I heard a lot of network that they did in school to compare with my time. Now, because of the one-touch technology, they can find very easy how to find network through the internet. Just Google it. For example, they want to get some idea, some funding for their program. So they just Google Petronas, for example, Petronas Kota Baru. So they get the address and the contact number, and then they will contact. And normally the corporate sector will say, "Oh, please email us. What do you want?" So this is the some opportunities that the teachers need to take about finding more opportunities, not only by mutual ways, but also by using technologies. So teachers can do more network by technologies, not only the network in locally, okay, in domestic, but also easily to get more network in overseas. Okay, I got some school when they come to me and say, "Oh, Dr. Rosie, how can we get connect with other university or schools in China, for example, in Japan, in United States?" I said, first world country, they are really respect when we contact them through email. That is my experience. I think Dr. Munira also had the same experience when you were in UK. Mostly our
Yeah.
professor love us to get them through email, right? They doesn't want
Yes.
they doesn't want to go through with social media. They communicate to us in email like they communicate in WhatsApp. So I told a few schools that get the contact email from the Google about the school that you want to visit, and then just send them an email because the first world country institution normally they are very responsive. For example, if we email them today, maybe tonight we can get the reply. So that is also how we want to enhance the network, Dr. Mira. Okay, for visiting
Yeah.
that countries is very impossible because in the beginning, for sure, we want to get in touch with them by communication, right? So my advice to school, use the technology to get more network. And technology is very simple, and you need to put a trust to the first world country, especially they are very responsive. They will reply you as soon as possible they get the email from you. So that is my kind idea and also my experience that maybe I can share with you, Dr. Munira. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, I think that is very much relevant because I think during our time, Dr. Rosie, we don't
Yeah.
have emails yet, but we do have pen pals where we
Pen
write
pals.
letters, right? To
Oh,
get
so memory pen
very,
pals. I
very
love pen
long
pals.
time ago.
Yeah,
Yes.
I
So,
saving my money about 5 cents a day to buy the pen pal letter is about 40
yeah.
cents, right? For one?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
40 to 50 cents. So, yeah, back in the day, that's how we create networking, right? We
Yes,
write
yes.
to students in other
Yeah,
schools and
yeah,
also to in other countries. And the platform was just through this letter writing activity.
yeah,
But now, since we have the internet, of course, we
yeah,
could go a little bit further and
yeah.
beyond,
Very
right?
fast.
And
Yeah,
the responses would be very quick and instant. And I also, yes, it is true. Like for us, I think the culture of writing emails is not as popular as writing messages in WhatsApp, for example.
Yeah.
People tend to respond very quickly here in Malaysia if we write in WhatsApp or in Instagram and in other social media platforms, right? But in other countries, emails is still relevant, and it is the way where people
Yes.
can write and ask for things and request. and
Yeah.
and as you mentioned about Petronas, I think they are being very open and
Yes.
encouraging people
Yeah.
to contact them and to get help,
Yeah.
not, not like help, but help in terms of, look, I need information, could you please help
Mm.
me, in that
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
And they are friendly enough to say, yes, what is it that you need? We will provide as
Yes.
much help
They are
as
very
possible,
professional receiving email.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
support, so that whatever that we share with you, you can take that even further. So I think that is a very good way of communication, and that is a form of networking today that we can see today. And
Doctor, can I add
yeah,
something? Can I add
yeah,
something
sure,
very short?
yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
For schools, I just
Mm-hmm.
want to share some tips. I share this tip a lot with IPG campuses, but now
Mm-hmm.
because there are some opportunity to share with school, maybe our
Mm-hmm.
audience also from teachers. Okay.
Yes.
I may mention about Petronas, Khazanah
Mm-hmm.
National, okay, and then
Right.
Sam Darby, and then
Mm-hmm.
there are some corporate sector, they have education section under their
Yeah.
agency. Petronas, they
Mm-hmm.
have Petronas Foundation. Sam Darby, they have
Mm-hmm.
Sam Darby Foundation. If you see the foundation under the corporate sector, meaning that that foundation is specific for education. So get their
Right.
email
Mm-hmm.
address or contact number or contact person, contact them, and I'm very sure your student will gain a lot of network if the teachers
Mm-hmm.
have the confidence to contact the big agency to bring to the school. So this is the tip that I
Mm-hmm.
did with my IPG campus Kota Baru now. We try to bring
Mm-hmm.
DIY. We bring
Mm-hmm.
Lotus. We bring Khazanah National. We bring Petronas. Even maybe the progress is still on about having some
Mm-hmm.
funding or some support from
Mm-hmm.
them. But having them in our community, I think that is upgrading our level, right? The level of
Yeah.
how we thinking about network. So that is the tip to the school. Get the
Mm-hmm.
teachers who are confident to contact them, and then yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
think the school will gain a lot of benefit if they have that kind of teacher. Yeah. Thank you, Doctor. Yeah.
Yes, yes, that's right. And yeah, and the organizations which you mentioned just now, they're not even abroad. They're here in the country. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we have a lot of opportunities actually.
Sure.
It is a
Yeah.
matter of trying out and being confident and brave to ask
Yes.
for others to help us, and
Yes.
and learn and exchange our ideas. I think
That's
that's a
right.
very good tip, Dr. Rosie.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
coming to I think my third question here. As you mentioned, and as we know, you have done so many networking and developed partnerships with various people at different levels. Okay, and you mentioned that before, and I mentioned that again here. So, maybe you have also mentioned a little bit about the benefits you have gained from such events. For you personally, what are the benefits that you have gained from this? Because it's not easy, it's a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
Trying to
Yeah. Yeah.
connect with people and having
Yeah.
people to come to you and say, hey, yes, that's a good idea, I would love to be part of your program. So I mean, what do you gain from that?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Maria. I think that is very good question. To build the trust from others to us is not an easy, just like we click a hand, right? It takes
Mhm.
a very long process, And I think I go through that process smoothly and with the trust of from MOE and also IPGM, I built more and more every year by every year. Okay, year by year, Dr. Munira. For example, it's still about the golden experience that I gained when I was in, yeah, I may say in Colorado State University. I bring some network to IPG Campus Kota Baru and also to IPGM or Teachers Training Institute headquarters in Cyberjaya for some events, because I think that
Right.
is only contribution that I can did when government or MOE sponsor me to go to further study to United States with some amount, big amount, not some amount, big amount.
Yeah.
And then when I come back, I doesn't want come with only the scroll with the PhD certificate, but I want to come with the full of experience, with the full of network that I can connect again as a bridge to get United States education with Malaysia education. So yeah, I did it well last year when I bring some of speakers from United States to our Minds program in Kuala Terengganu. And then when I was in China, okay, for 2 years, even it's just a short way, but in 2 years, I developed, I may say, 1,000 network, Dr. Munira. Not only because a role as a director for Education Malaysia for Region Asia, but based in China, but because I think I can do also for future education in Malaysia. So I collect so many network contact when I was in China. So when I come back after 2 years, I was there, 2017. Yeah, surprisingly, many China education section still contact me and want to engage with me because they said Malaysia is very prosperable for their student to come and study in your university or college. So I said, wow, we really welcome the idea, especially from China, because we think we have a very long friendship with China, right, in education for about 45 years. So why not? We bring many network from China to our education, especially to get more internationalization ideas for our teachers training student. That is when I was in China. When I was in Finland, actually, how I bring Finland education system ideas to our education system, especially in teachers training. When I was there in 2019 with, as I said, that YGT show and MOE. Actually, as I said, that Finland really looking forward for more contribution in networking. Okay, yet Hatta Helia, they have almost 150 networks, and they started the presentation about their university with the network. I said, wow, if we in Malaysia we will start with the history of our institution, right? But in Haga Helia and most of schools and also in Finland schools or agency or institution, they will start that how many network that they already did for their institution. And when we said why, because they said future education is about collaboration. We cannot stand alone about having our teachers trainer to think about to be a teacher only to be a teacher, but without thinking about others ideas. So I think we can learn from that. So the benefit that I bring from Finland, yes, still now. From my own initiative also, I bring some educators to visit Finland, Dr. Munira. Okay, maybe that is from my own initiative, but when the groups of teachers or lecturer that I bring to Finland from my own trip, when we come back, they will spread out the idea to their schools or to their teachers training about what the define they can gain from the visit to Finland. So I think this is also partly of how we want to enhance the network. Last but not least,
Right.
you mentioned about BET, right? British Educational
Yeah.
Technology and Training. I'm going there tomorrow. So luckily the session is today. If tomorrow, yeah, maybe it's not happened. But yeah, it's about how we can gain a lot of ideas about technologies, future education from bed. And that's also when I go to bed, the thing
Mm.
that might come first in my mind is about having connection with 500 agencies, Dr. Nira. It's not
Yeah.
five, it's not
Mm.
50, it's not 100. It's 500 agencies who are really working hard to see the technologies in future education. So,
Mm-hmm.
wow, I may say that when I was first time in bed last year, I was also
Mm-hmm.
invited by that because I am
Mm-hmm.
partly of the pet community. It
Mm-hmm.
was really shocking me because the venue for the pet is bigger
Mm-hmm.
than I think the normal stadium in Malaysia. Maybe it 2 times
Yeah.
stadium. The venue
Mm.
for beds. So that is
Mm.
how showing that how British also really
Mm.
keen about having more countries to understand their future
Mhm.
education. So
Mhm.
yeah, this is
Mm.
kind of a broad experience that I gain
Mhm.
when my study, my work, and also my visit for official
Mm.
or unofficial. But finally, I
Mm.
bring all that idea back to Malaysia, and because now
Mm.
I'm in IPG campus Kota Baru, I bring all the idea to my campus about having more
Mm.
network with the network that I gained before. So
Mm.
yeah, is the thing that I
Mm.
try to contribute, Era, because as I said that since we are
Mhm.
servant government, that we are very
Mm.
loyal to MOE to give the
Mm.
best for our future
Mm.
teachers, for future students. So this is only that I
Mm.
can do to make sure that our internationalization thinking not only to
Mm.
us who are involved professionally in global education, but also finally it will goes to teachers, to our future teachers education, to our future student, to make sure that our country we gain a lot of having global standard of education in future. That is my aim about this network, Dr. Munira. Yeah, thank you.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Rosie. I think at the end, because when we were students, our Ministry of Education has helped us a lot, right? They
Yes.
have given so much to us. So I guess this is a time for us to give back.
Yeah,
And
give
I
back.
guess when we're talking, going back to networking and collaboration, it's about
Yes,
partnership, it's about sharing, it is also about exchanges. It has to be two ways. We
you are
cannot
right.
just stand alone, because if we do stand alone, then nothing will happen. We
No,
will only
no.
grow. Okay, we
Yeah,
will grow bigger. Okay,
yeah.
but in isolation. And I think to be in a world, you have to stay connected and
Yes,
to constantly give back in order to gain something,
yes.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. That's
yes,
right.
I think that is what networking, and that is also part of how we optimize our
Yes,
education for the future, and making
yes.
our students and even ourselves
Yeah.
future proof, right?
Future proof.
uh,
Yes, that's right. Of
yes,
course,
future proof.
definitely.
So
Really
yes,
agree. Yes, future
yeah,
proof. Yes, yes.
okay,
Yeah.
right. So I think, Dr. Rosie, that actually concludes the webinar for
Oh,
today's session. I know it's almost 1 hour. Yeah, we have just a few more minutes.
if
Let's
I've been
do
given
one
three
hour.
hours, I can say more, but because it's only 1 hour, yeah, I shortest my
Yes,
speech, and then yeah, maybe I
yes,
can say some
yes.
last word, Dr. Munira, if you
Yeah,
can give
sure,
my
sure. Yes, go
yeah,
ahead.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you everyone for having me, especially Komad and also IPGKB, and of course my good friend Dr. Mira, the moderator today. I think it's really great session, and uh, I hope that everyone will gain the ideas about what I'm saying. Future education is about collaboration. Collaboration is a network. Okay, network and collaboration, I think it's very similar things. So to be first world country in education, we have to get this idea. Okay, we have to get this idea. What we are worrying about if we not develop this idea as faster as we can. Maybe some educators still will say that, oh, doing similar things every year and doing something very same every year will make sure that our education will go very far ahead. No, I think we need to change that thinking, Dr. Mira. By having network, some networking with other agencies, with other university, for example, schools with university, IPG university, or IPG with IPG with school. Wow, the colorful of education heading education 20 will be happen in our country. So yeah, I thanks IPG KBA again for this topic, optimizing future proof education. And I really sure that some of our discussion today is really proven about how we want to see our future education to go globally very fast, and then to make sure that our future nation we get these all opportunities to make sure that, yeah, anak cucu kita or the next generation will go very confident, just like others first world country in education. Go global. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Rosie.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for accepting our invitation to be the second speaker for the webinars for COMAT. Okay, so and I also like to say thank you to our technical team here at the Institute of Teacher Education International Languages Campus, IPGKBA, Mr. Satya, Mr. Daini, and also Mr. Fazi, who's backstage, okay, handling this session here, and also the team from the Educational Technology and Resources Division, BSTP, Ministry of Education Malaysia, KPM, the producer, Dr. Suras, studio director, Mr. Muhammad Azian, our webmaster, Mr. Muhammad Farid, our streamer, Ms. Nur Ain, and also our wonderful viewers. No matter where you are, thank you so much for tuning in today. Please do not forget our next webinar series will be held tomorrow, Tuesday, 28th of March, 2023. This is going to be the third of the 18 webinar series. It will be live at 10 a.m. Malaysian time. We will introduce to you our speaker, Ms. Rohani Puteh, a lecturer at the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, Prince of Songkla University, Thailand. So don't forget to watch COMAT again tomorrow. And please note also that the session will be conducted in Bahasa Melayu. Till then, thank you again. Jumpa lagi. See you soon and goodbye from Malaysia.